Alrighty, what is going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to the channel for another market update. Hope everybody had a lovely day. And with that being said, let's dive into the TA. All right, guys, we did have a pretty green day today across the board. We're going to make this video pretty short, just to sum things up all in one sentence, guys. The stock market is going higher. All right, guys, so I am anticipating higher prices. You should be as well with how things are looking. We knew coming into this week, we had a bunch of weekly bullish engulfing candlesticks. We had a bunch of reversal setups here. Things were very likely going to be taking a turn on the upside, all right, for a change. We've been doing a whole lot of nothing. We have gone absolutely nowhere in, just about a month here. We are now starting to break out of that consolidation. Today, over here on SPY, you broke above 602.13. That is above the 0.786 Fibonacci retracement level. And that does tell us we are probably going to get 100% retracement, which would be a move up to 609.07. That is a new all-time high. So I do have my two arrows here because these are, the two paths that I am anticipating this could move in. If we start consolidating / pulling back, guys, follow this yellow brick road. If you continue, moving higher, follow this yellow brick road, okay? Above 602.13, we're going to have 606.41 and then 609.07. Between 602.13 and 606.41, you really have absolutely nothing, so expect that move to happen quick. Since you already did get over it, all right, and you are, up pretty handsomely in the after hours, I do have to anticipate that that is going to be tested tomorrow. No guarantees. All right, 4-hour RSI is starting to get overbought. As we could see, it never really stalls out right there. You kind of hit there, and then you keep going. Okay, so for all we know, we could have a good amount more upside before we even get that small 3% pullback there. Okay, and once that pullback is done, we could very well get a bunch more upside. Guys, we clear as day had a bottom being put in, a major bottom, and it no longer was just being turned into this little correction. You've had several chances here for the sellers, and you had one heck of a reversal setup on the major indices, guys. You had IWM and DIA here with the bullish divergences over here inside their golden pockets. Okay, this is IWM over here. You come over to DIA, not in the golden pocket over here, right? But you did have that same bullish divergence sitting over here. And you did hold on to your last swing low over here on the weekly time frame. Guys, things are queuing up to be pretty explosive here. And we're seeing DIA, and IWM play some catch up here, considering they were not rallying with the rest of the market over here, or at least not as much. As you can see, SPY's almost back up at highs. Okay. You've now gotten above 78% of, the whole decline here. I think it's safe to say this was the corrective move. This is the impulsive move unfolding right now before our eyes. Support over here in SPY, guys, you have 602.13, 599.70, 597.75, and 595.61. If price does decide to pull back, guys, which it very well could, considering, things are overbought right now, all right, and you've just been kind of grinding up here. Pullbacks are perfectly normal. You got one gap up over. You had this reversal set up over here. You had the inverse head and shoulders set up. Okay. You gapped up out of that. And then you consolidated for a day. And then what happened? You gapped up again. And then what happened the next day? You gapped up again, guys. I think we are getting a taste of, something like this over here where you just keep gapping up and you keep going. Okay. Or we had something like this where you just, left all of these gaps open. Why? Because you had a sea of doubt. Okay, and does this look similar? These three drives down to a low. That is on a larger time horizon there, a larger scale than what we got over here. Okay, this took, about a month, a month and a half, we'll call it, to really carve out here. But, in the end, it's pretty much the same look. You have this, compression in price, this consolidation, you're now starting to break out of that, okay? So, I'm just going to make it very clear here. Expect price to move higher. Okay. Expect new highs over here in SPY. We know the setup over here in the weekly time frame is absolutely immaculate. Coming into this week on most of the Mag 7 stocks and semiconductor stocks. You know, guys, with what semiconductors are doing right now, I think it's very clear the market wants to continue on up to new highs. We have plenty of fuel right now for the rally that is about to unfold. Okay. Weekly chart over here on QQ, guys. It's looking nice to start off the week. Okay. It's not looking bad at all. Okay. You had the breakout over here on Friday out of this, falling wedge pattern slash, bull pennant, what you had over here on QQ on the NASDAQ. You just broke out of that on Friday. You came back, you retested your short-term moving averages there, which I actually think that was a glitch, if I'm remembering correctly. You actually did not retest your short-term moving averages there. 519. Yeah, you didn't. Okay. 519 was low over here. I knew I was remembering a glitch in the system over here, a glitch in the trading view chart. But as you can see, you're consolidating above the short-term moving averages here on the daily time frame. As you can see, you cannot hold it here. You cannot hold it here. You sliced back on. Well, you gapped up down under it over here, and you sliced under it over here. Well, now this is 2 days above. You already kind of flipped it over here. You got above it, flipped it into support, gapped up off of that. Things are looking pretty juicy, guys. If sellers are going to step in, it's going to be right here in the golden pocket. If price does pull back, you're watching 516.64 and 519.06. That's our little area of interest down here with the short-term moving averages, as well as the retest over here from the falling wedge slash bull pennant upper trend line. So price pulls back because we are in the golden pocket. If sellers are going to step in, it's going to be before 530.124 up there. And then we are going to look for higher prices after that. SPY is really the strong looking one right now. So I can't really speak on, what NASDAQ is going to do right here. But as of right now, I know dips are buying opportunities. So these are the paths I am going to be paying attention to, okay? But on QQ, your resistance is going to be 525.99, which, again, just like SPY, you are, seeing decent upside here in the after hours. You are already at 527.92, okay? So let's just pretend you are up here at 527.92 because of what I just showed you. All right, your resistance, 527.92, 531.24, and above there, you have nothing until 539.15. Okay, but if you want to add a level, we could watch that. Okay, so above 531.24, we have 534.13 and then 539.15. Okay, on the downside is your support. You have 525.99, 524.07, 522.03, and 519.06. Like I said, if you do decide to pull back, you're watching for that down there at 516.64 to 519.06. But as you can see, we are already all the way up here. Guys, things are still looking strong. You didn't even get overbought over here. When you get overbought, you usually stay overbought for a little while. You go a little bit higher. Just go that extra distance here. Go that 2%. You're breaking above this 0.786 fib there. Go 2%. You're at new all-time highs. Okay. So I do think new all-time highs is coming over here. I think big tech is looking good. I think semiconductors are looking really good. How are the small caps? I actually didn't go over your resist. I did. Okay, just to sum it up though. Okay, support 525.99, 524.07, 522.03, 519.06, 516.64. Resistance 527.92, 531.24, 534.13, 539.15. IWM, guys, star of the show today, up a whole 1.92% to close out the day. Closed up at the high. As you could see, guys, coming into the week, you had this nice green reversal looking candlestick over here. Bounced off the golden pocket. And as far as I'm concerned, this thing looks like it's going to test the upper golden pocket up here. All right, golden pocket to golden pocket action right there. 233.40 to 238.60, I think, is incoming. Above 230.55, you're watching 233.40, 235.92. And then 239.43 on the downside is your support. 226.64, 224.66, and 222.71. But really, we're going to clean up the chart. We're going to take those off of there. We are above the short-term moving averages as of right now. It is pretty safe to say that this is now going to be treated as demand. So until we get under it, we're not going to clutter our chart with anything down here. Broke the downtrend, consolidated above the short-term moving average. Now you're off to the races. Looks sexy to me. DIA over here, guys. You are in the golden pocket. Broke out of your downtrend over there. Consolidated above the short-term moving averages. And now you're off to the races. You're in the golden pocket. If sellers are going to step in, it's going to be right here. Expect buyers in this 431.42 to 433.20 zone down here. That should be treated as demand now that we have been above it now for, quite some time. Okay. But, all in all, reversal setup is underway above 444.87. Expect new highs above 451.55. VIX, start the week, guys. You are continuing lower, minus 5.7% on the day over here on Mr. VIX. Bearish engulfing candlestick. What can I say, guys? We thought 1571 was coming. 1571 was incoming. Okay, what did we think was coming next, guys? 1427. I still think 1427 is incoming. That is what I'm going to pay attention to over here. If VIX bounces, it is going to be a buying opportunity over there in the indices. I do think VIX is coming lower there before it spikes back up. Okay, now let's go over the chips. We're going to start off with the chips. Why? Because we do think these are probably going to be leading the way higher on this rally. Okay, so, SMH, guys, big breakout. You got the daily close right here on your 262.26, top of range resistance. Bottom of the range, really it's like right over here. Okay, you can see touch point, touch point, touch point, touch point, touch point, touch point, touch point. Now you got another touch point. We will see what happens tomorrow. I want to see a clear as day close above this. But now the weekly close is going to be important because you got all this, compression here on the weekly chart. You're just consolidating, getting really tight here for, what? It looks like 3-4 months. Yeah, 4 months right there. Chances are big moves comes out of this and we come back up to all-time highs, 283.07 incoming, in my personal opinion. I think that can take some time to unfold, but, chips are looking mighty fine. And if you just, look at this right here, you do have this head and shoulders pattern pretty much clear as day now that I see that. Okay. Does look like you are going higher in the short term to me. That's SMH, guys. The chip that was leading the way over here is ARM. Fresh breakout. Got above the 0.786 fib, broke above 150.14, and now you're at 156.40. What happened in the after hours, though? You had the $500 billion AI plan get announced, and we saw chips go a little crazy. And I actually should have showed SMH in the after hours. You're up at 264, not, down here. So you are actually already back up at the highs of the day in the after hours. Okay, so that is something to note. Jeez Louise. ARM over here, though, leading the way over here in the chips. I was pointing out that surprisingly, ARM was the strongest over here, and then ARM was the strongest over here. And now we can see, well, now we know why ARM was being the strongest. It was about to have the biggest move. So, I had my trend line originally. I think it was right here. You had this little false breakout over here. Guess what? Okay, you could just kind of move that over there. You got a touch point, a touch point, a touch point, and a touch point, and you broke above that. Now you're up, guys, it looks like you're going off the races from this point on. Above 164.16, you have nothing until 173.23. Above there, you have 188.75. ARM could honestly be very lucrative over here. You'd have earnings. We do have, a history over here, a big rips over here, just continuing to run up over here, and then followed by these big impulsive move up, continuing to move up like that. This thing could take a little time to unfold, but at the end of the day, that's 3 weeks and 40%. That can pay. Okay. Another thing that I think is just heating up here. I've been talking about how, hey, you need to, make the first move over here. I've been talking about this past, 2 weeks, we'll call it. Ever since you rejected the 0.786 fib here before, we had this level to watch, 106.74. We said above 106.74, you have a shot at coming back up here to 112.04. And from that point, I do think the move up to 129 is starting. So we'll just call that 130. I do think that move is starting. I think it started today, actually. Okay, so 130.54 up here. You can see all the reactions you got going on. All right, so, above 114.80, you have absolutely nothing until up here. You can see you just kind of free falled. That's probably a move that's going to happen quick. We have earnings all the way out here, so I don't think any crazy impulsive move is happening right now. It could just be a slow grind, honestly, okay? You could go like that. You could reject. You could pull back. You could go like that. You could go like that. You could go like that. Okay, for all I know, you shoot right up here, all right? And MU really does have, an absolute rip river move, just happen like these little legs up you have over here going on. All right, so we could really see something like this, you know, straight into this golden pocket. Now that you have broken above 106.74, let me break down my reasoning, guys. 106.74 is above the 0.786 fib. You just got the daily close above. You actually look over here in the after hours, you are up above 110. You know, you got above the 0.786 fib. That tells you you're going to have probably going to have a 100% retracement. That would be a move up to 112.04. You know, with how things are looking, I imagine you're probably going to go a little further than that and probably test 114.80. This is your supply in between 112.04 and 114.80. Expect sellers there, but above there, you know, that's where crazy things can happen. And that's why I don't think things go straight up. Maybe you would consolidate here. Maybe you lose it and then you maybe reclaim it at some point. All right. But, you know, I think we're probably going to get some reactions here between 112.04 and 114.80. So keep that area on watch there if you would like. In the video over here, guys, you are up decently in the after hours, up to 143.15. You know, I pointed out how if buyers were going to step in over here in the golden pocket from this whole, you know, move up, you're going to step in right here, or it's going to be down here 130. It's one or the other, guys. You know, it wasn't, the downside was very clearly limited. We had the fear and greed index down at 26 for, you know, a few days in a row there. You know, it doesn't get much better than how we had things set up. It's a clear money making opportunity that was, you know, getting ready, and now we're just seeing that unfold. Give it a week. If you're well positioned, guys, I think we're probably going to be, you know, pretty green. All right. But, you know, coming back over to NVIDIA, guys, I do think you're coming up here. You're already at 143. I think you're going to, you know, come up here, test this golden pocket tomorrow between 144 and 148. Golden pocket between this whole move down. That is the 0.618 Fibonacci retracement and the 0.786 Fibonacci retracement. That is where we are going to expect sellers. Come over here to AVGO, guys. We do have this fresh breakout on Friday of this bullish pennant over here, bullish triangle, bullish pennant, whatever you want to call it. Pulled back to the 21 EMA on the daily time frame, and then you broke out of that pennant. And, you know, as you guys can see, you're just kind of still outside of that pennant. That is the best possible thing. You want to hold that breakout. You are right now, guys, above 241.75. We're talking 247.28 and then 251.88. I think this level up here at 251.88 is pretty much, you know, set in stone from this point on. This setup is probably going to bring you a lot higher, probably 250 to 260 here in the short term. All right, chips are really set up right now, and I do think we could get some crazy moves going over here this week. AMD, it's even starting to turn around over here, all right? It is the troll of the group, but you are up here at the 21. This is where you want to see things happen. You want to get above. You don't want to struggle here. You want to gap above that bad boy tomorrow. I think you're gapping up a little bit in the after hours. You're at 123 over here. You're at 122. You're up a buck. Okay, you want to gap up above the 21 over here, and you want to, you know, hold above it. We're going to say for more than 2 days. You held above it for 2 days over here, and you got sucked back down. You know, right over here, you held it for, you know, 2 days right here. You got sucked back down. I want to see 3 daily closes above the 21, and then we can talk about some further upside over here on AMD. DSM, guys, we talked about on the pullback. We don't typically see tops looking like that, just like we didn't see tops looking like this. We were bullish before this move actually came, all right, and then it pulled back, and again we were bullish on the move again, looking for new highs, and then it pulled back, and we said we were also bullish on that coming into this week, guys. You know, I don't know what else to say about it. New highs incoming, 222.20 incoming. All of these chips gapped up though, so that is something. You know, setup I want to put on your radar. MRVL, it did pull back today. You are up a little in the after hours there, up $2. But you know, this is one that I think is probably about to do some moves. Okay. You know, over here, I think all the chips are going to do well. I think the best performers are probably going to be ARM, MU, and I think AVGO. NVIDIA, you know, NVIDIA is probably going to do its thing, but you know, best performers. Yeah, probably AVGO, ARM, and MU. ARM could really do some crazy things. You know, MRVL, Marvel over here, it is also known to have these impulsive moves up. So, you know, it can also do some crazy things. I won't be surprised to see a 10% move up over here. Am I gonna play this one? No, I'm not gonna play it. You know, I don't know it too well. I don't, you know, it's not like I've really studied this chart and, you know, I had experience on this chart. So I'm going to stick to the ones that I know. So out of, you know, the bunch that I cover every day, ARM, MU, and AVGO, these are the ones that I'm most interested on over here. and already got you know, a few NVIDIA calls over here. All right, but you know, I didn't really want to jump back into this thing, you know, all heavy or anything like that. You know, I'm a, you know, big fan of not overstaying your welcome. I think it's wise to do so. You never want to overstay your welcome, guys. You know, like honestly, Tesla. Okay, it's being a pain in the butt, but you know, now that we're done with the chips, we'll come over your Tesla. All right, honestly, you know, I don't even need to be playing this move. This move's just pissing me off, but I do think it's going to be very lucrative. I think right around the corner. Did Elon have to give like this Nazi wave to everyone? Nah, no, he didn't. But you know, at the end of the day, you know, Elon was just being Elon. I'm pretty positive that's not what he meant by it. I think he was meaning, you know, he was giving his heart out to the crowd. I don't really know how people misinterpret that for someone actually meaning to do a Nazi thing at a presidential inauguration. That would make no sense. Nonetheless, guys, you know, if he didn't do that, for all I know, this thing could just have, you know, gapped up over here. You know, it was up to 436, you know, almost 437 in the pre-market. And then you just have this, you know, 15 minutes of absolute death over here. And yeah, you died. Okay. So you went from 432 within 5 minutes down, yeah, $15 down to 417. And then, you know, give it like almost an hour there, 40 minutes, and you were down $26 at 406. How the heck? No idea. But you know, you went from 406 at that point where you closed at, you know, at 424, $18 higher, guys. Now you have a sick ass hammer candlestick over here with a nice lower wick stemming from the short term moving averages over here on the daily time frame. This, you know, it was being supply over here. Okay. You know, you're getting sellers there, but then you flipped it over here. You got above it, and then you came back to retest it, and you got above it again, and then you retested it. Okay, and now you have flipped it into demand. Okay, so this lower wick over here is showing us that this area over here is demand. I do think we are probably going to be using this area as a launch pad for the move up into the golden pocket. If price can get above 465.33, that's when we were watching for 475 and then 488.54. I do think those upper levels are incoming probably this week with how, you know, this weekly chart is set up over here. You know, especially after today's hammer candlestick. You know, I was saying in the Discord over here. Oh, I actually got a post. I didn't even post. Oh, there we go. Okay, buyers are going to step in. It would be ideal to do it here. We have the daily short-term moving averages right here. Price doesn't bounce back from here. I'll be watching for it to do so from 393 to 403. All right, so that was right over here. We were coming down. We were right here at the short-term moving averages. Ideally, you were going to get buyers stepping in. By the end of the day, we had a picture-perfect break and retest off double bottom neckline. All right, it's looking real nice over there. Okay, so you know, I do think Tesla's probably getting ready to do some crazy things. We just got to be patient on her and just let her do her thing. And you know, if she wants to not move so much when everything else is up, you know, 2-3% on the day, 2 to 4% on the day, it is what it is. It is what it is. Okay. All right. So, well, you know, I was looking at the chips. Okay. And, you know, not everything's up to 2 to 4%. You know, Bitcoin stocks did pretty crap today. But speaking of Bitcoin stocks, what the heck is that thing? Okay. We got some stuff to talk about, but I want to go through things quickly. I want to make this video quick. But, you know, now that we're looking at the charts, I was just going to point out, guys, the prices are going higher. But, you know, once I really get into the charts, I don't want to make it just, you know, that doesn't really give the people anything. You know, any actionable information to go off of. I like, you know, being in detail as possible, in depth as possible, so people have things to go off of, and you guys can make some valid decisions for yourself and your own capital. All right, hammer candlestick over here on the daily time frame as the daily RSI hits that 30 level. You are now at 29.69 on the daily RSI. Came down, swept that 219.71 support, printed that nice lower wick, and now I do have to assume you're probably going to be bouncing. Okay, so get above 224.42. That is 2 days high. Get above there, and we are going to be watching for this bad boy to push back up here to 228. Okay, all right. But yeah, daily RSI is now oversold. So that is something to take note on Apple. Amazon over here, guys, we were pointing this out in the weekly update. Bull flag consolidation. You know, there's nothing to be bearish over here. Anybody, you know, who's been really bearish on these things, guys, any influencers you guys are paying attention to, I don't want to call myself an influencer because I really don't sell you guys things. I got my own, you know, private group and stuff like that, and I like helping people make money in there. But you know, I literally do not mention it, so I don't want to call myself an influencer. I rather call myself a teacher, or you know, just someone who is just trying to do their best to help people out online. But if you are watching anybody who if you're watching anybody on social media and they got, you know, really bearish on all of these things and they're getting you to short the whole, yeah, don't listen to those guys. Okay, just don't, because they're going to be more wrong than right. And if you're following along with them, you're going to be more wrong than right. The name of the game, get it right. Okay, you know, you don't have to. You could be a short-term trader where you don't really have to, you know, make any guesses, or you could do what I do and really don't make any guesses and just kind of wait for things to come together. And then once things come together, you make educated guesses right there. And then once things actually break out, they give you some hints. Okay, Mr. NASDAQ starting to actually break out. All right, right over here, you broke out on Friday from your bull pennant. All right, SPY over here also breaking out. You know, when you get a bunch of hints saying that consolidation, you know, a month and a half long consolidation is coming to a conclusion, that's when it's your green light to make money on the upside. I don't know what, you know, it's as easy as that. I can't really make it more simple than that. That's kind of what we have going on right now, guys. So new highs in coming over here. Above 226.51, I was going to be looking for 229.14 and then 233. Above there, 240 and then 245. Psychological levels are what you are going to be paying attention to. Come over here to Goog, guys. You did break out today to a new high, but it was a false breakout and you closed out with a shooting star candlestick. I have to assume you're going to pull back tomorrow. You know, you already are a little lower in the after hours there. Watch 198.16 for support. I do have to assume this thing's probably going higher, though. Okay, you just got your breakout, you're just pulling back. Okay, Microsoft looking pretty juicy over here. You got the double bottom still, neckline is 434.32. Get above there, watch a 440.94, 446.75, and 456.16. Okay, Meta over here, guys, still just getting ready for this big move. Okay, so you got to wait on it. Still just getting ready for the big move. Got to be patient on it. Okay. Now let's talk about some Bitcoin stocks. I think Bitcoin's coming up to new highs. I think stocks are, you know, looking like they're probably going to be participating. Specifically Coin and MSTR. I don't really think it's worth playing Riot, CLSK, Mara, the miners. I don't think they're worth playing. Mara actually did have some good flow coming in today. Out of everything, Mara was looking good. Coin was also looking good. MSTR had some good stuff, but, you know, Coin is looking the best chart-wise, and it had the best flow coming in today. You know, honestly, break and retest over here on Coin. You got your double bottom going on over here. This is your neckline. You're breaking above that. This thing could take you up to new highs. Okay, so you could very easily be, you know, coming over here in the short term. Okay, I think this is probably going to be moving with Bitcoin. We're just also going to take a look at this trend line right there. You broke out. What happened today? You came back, you retest your short-term moving averages, and if you came a little lower, you would have retested that trend line. You know, things are looking like you're probably going to be continuing higher. Okay, that's Coin over there, and then MSTR. I really like the Coin chart, by the way. Like, really one of my favorite charts right now. But you know, MSTR has a very similar look. I just don't like the business model of Mr. MSTR over here. I think it's definitely a Ponzi scheme, and it is what it is. But you know, sexy chart, I won't deny. I pointed out the weekly candle, what we had over here. I pointed out over here, and then, you know, guess what? You fell flat on your face the next week, and then you have this. So we pointed this out coming into this week. Bitcoin stocks are looking really good. Some of them, Coin, MSTR. Mars not looking bad over here, and that's that. Now I got some trade ideas. I know I just, you know, hit you guys with some trade ideas, but I got some things that are taking off right now that I'm going to be, you know, paying attention to / participating in. You got HIMS over here, guys, above 28.72. We were looking for 31, 33.14, and 35.02. You know, this is something that just started taking off today, and I do think you're probably going to be heading up to 35 and then 40 over the coming, you know, 1 to 2 weeks. I think this just started that move up. Oklo over here, as you can see, it you know, I told you about it over here getting ready, and then I told you when it really started breaking out over here. Okay, right there. I put it back on your radar, and then it was consolidating right over here. I put it on your radar, and then it went new highs, and then it pulled back, and now I'm putting it back on your radar. Okay. Okla, I think new leg incoming. 35 could be reached on this next leg up. So that's Okla. I think Uber is shaping up very nice over here on the weekly and the daily time frame. You're finding buyers where you want to. You already held the short-term moving averages. Now you're kind of just holding them again. You want to find buyers off of over here, get above 68.84. You don't really have much until you come back up here to 73.55. Okay, RK guys, not looking bad. You got a little peekaboo action over here on this trend line. Above 61.84, we're talking 63.44 and then 66.27. KO guys, finally are moving and grooving here. Finally got that breakout over that trend line. You got like a little falling wedge action going on right there, but really the main, the focus of the setup here, focus point is going to be that trend line break. And then you did start getting above your short-term moving averages over here. Okay, so that's very important. You could not hold above them over here. You could not hold them above them over here. And then you just couldn't get above them at all. You got slammed down. Weekly chart had the RSI getting down to oversold territory over there. This is kind of the perfect spot for you to get the buyer stepping in over there. You have the golden pocket sitting right here. You have the 0.786 fib. Picture perfect over here. On the daily time frame, it's very important. You got the trend line break, and now you got above the short-term moving averages, and you're consolidating above them. So as long as you hold above them, this is looking good. If you can come back up to the high up here and take that out, okay, above 62.62, we're watching 63.23. Above 63.23, you have 63.92, 65.10, and 66.58. I'm really liking that. All right, and the last one is just Roblox, guys. I do think this, I put it on your radar during this consolidation, right over here. Okay, I put it on your radar right there. I was thinking you were going to have one of these big weeks. You did not. But, you did have, a next decent 2 weeks right there with a 10% move. So congrats if you played that one. Okay. But yeah, I do think it's hitting 69.77 to 73.71 in the short term. Okay. All right. So those are Henry's trade ideas there, guys. You got all the information you possibly could need to make your money. I really hope you're doing well out there. And, at some point, I pointed this out, recently. At some point, guys, we are going to, the market's going to start falling flat in its face. Right now, it's not that time. Right now, it's very clearly by the dip mode. It's very clearly, these are all buying opportunities here before we move higher. And, we just recently got our confirmation on that one. Until then, I've just kind of been putting together context clues. But now we got the confirmation that, this whole time we were completely right. We're completely right, and now it's time to benefit off of that greatly. So I do think is best, like now, when you got the market screaming green light at you, it's time to take advantage of that and make your money. Okay, because at some point the easy money opportunities are going to go away. You're not going to get things setting up like this guy over here. Okay, this is like clear as day. This pullback, beautiful inverse head and shoulders. I mean, you had one over here, but then you have this big one over here. All right, and then you broke up, and then you have this pullback clear as day into new highs, okay, and then boom, okay, and then you pull back into highs, clear as day, okay. These things are going to go away at some point, all right. These things are going to go away at some point, which holy, I hate you, Tesla. I hate you for coming this low and then bouncing back up there, all right. I'm like mentally getting ready for this thing to fall flat in its face. And then I look back at it, and it's up there above 415. I'm like, oh, this thing's actually starting to turn around. And then by the end of the day, it just has a straight up pump. And, am I happy about it? Yeah, of course. Does it piss me off that it decided to be the only thing to fall flat on its face today? And this is the one that, I personally got, my biggest bet on right now. Yeah, I thought, maybe it is that Nazi little, wave that the guy did. I don't know. Okay. But with that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you got something out of it. And with that being said, I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.